Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am working on the promised turnip. I said in the jack-o'-lantern video that jack-o'-lanterns were originally made from turnips, not pumpkins, like back in the day when they first started doing these. So I was going to do one because I find that fascinating. I believe they were used as lanterns originally. I just read this too. I can't believe I've forgotten it already. But they were originally used as lanterns, possibly to scare away spirits. I don't know why they would have carved faces in them instead of just holes, unless there was some other purpose besides being a lantern. But I would encourage you to Google that for yourself, as I'm not entirely sure that I'm giving super accurate information. So this drawing went pretty well. I kind of messed it up at the end though. You'll see I tried to get all fancy and draw a shadow under the turnip at the end, and I'm just warning you right now, it did not turn out the way I had planned, but the rest of it went okay. I put a lot of leaves on the top. That took a long time. So I think in order to get through this video, since I don't have a lot of super disparaging things to say about the video, despite the fact that it's not great. I'm still not a great artist, but this one went okay. I wrote a little story to go along with the turnip. And since it's spooky season, it's October, Halloween time, it's a little story that's supposed to kind of be in the vein of scary stories to tell in the dark. So if you're Gen X like me, or perhaps an elder millennial, I hate that term, by the way, although it is more appropriate now than when they first came out with it, sorry, then you are possibly traumatized in childhood by being handed a copy of a book called Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And it is full of terrifyingly horrific stories that were written for children and are not appropriate in any way, shape, or form for children. But they shaped who I am today. So we have a little story time. And the name of the story is The Turnip Patch, which isn't very unique or interesting. I probably should have actually tried to come up with something better there. But whatever. Anyway, so here we go. Sarah shivered as she peered out the cottage window into the inky darkness. Her stomach growled, reminding her of the empty cupboards and her hungry little brothers huddled by the dying fire. With a sigh, she grabbed a lantern and steeled herself to venture out to the garden. The earth was damp under her bare feet as she crept toward the turnip patch. Her lantern cast eerie shadows across the gnarled old apple tree. A chill ran down her spine as a twig snapped somewhere in the blackness beyond the feeble circle of light. Trembling, Sarah knelt to pull the first turnip. As she tugged, she heard a low moan drift across the garden. She froze, straining her ears. There it was again, a sorrowful wail that made her hair stand on end. Sarah's heart pounded as she clutched the turnip to her chest. The moan came again, closer this time. Her eyes darted wildly around the garden, searching for its source. A pale shape emerged from behind the apple tree. Sarah gasped. It was a woman in a tattered white dress, her long hair tangled with leaves and twigs. But something was wrong. The woman's feet didn't quite touch the ground. "Help me," the spirit whispered, in her voice like dry leaves rustling. "They buried me here, in the turnip patch." Sarah's legs trembled. She wanted to run, but she couldn't move. The ghost drifted closer. "I'm so hungry," it moaned, "so very hungry." Suddenly, Sarah felt something grab at her ankle. She looked down and screamed. A bony hand was reached up from the earth, its fingers digging into her skin. More hands burst from the soil, clawing at her legs. The ghost woman's eyes glowed with an eerie light as she stretched out her arm towards Sarah. "Join us," the spirit hissed. "Stay with us. Forever." Sarah finally found her voice and let out a piercing shriek. She dropped the lantern and ran, stumbling through the darkness toward the cottage. Behind her, she heard the rustle of ethereal skirts and the squelching of things pulling themselves from the muddy earth. She burst through the cottage door, slamming it shut and sliding the bolt home. Her little brother stared at her with wide, frightened eyes. "What's wrong, Sarah?" the youngest asked. Sarah opened her mouth to answer, but no words came out. How could she tell them that their garden was full of restless spirits, that the vegetables they ate grew from soil that fed the dead? A soft tapping came at the window. Sarah squeezed her eyes shut, praying it was just the wind, but she knew better. She also knew that sooner or later they would run out of food again, and when that happened, someone would have to go back out to the turnip patch. So what do you think? That was just a little spooky story. Oh, and look at that. I'm still working on the leaves. I must have been working on those leaves for a long time. I thought that story would get us through the end of this video, but it did not. So one thing about the story, I probably could have used another editing pass on it. Sarah was supposed to be a little girl. The story is set in the 1800s. Her parents aren't home because they're off drinking at the local tavern and have left her to care for her little brothers again by herself. So she has to feed them. That's when she goes out to the turnip patch. So there's a little background on that story that I probably should have actually included in the story, but I did not. All right. So we're going in on the eyes now. And I did this time do the technique where I colored the gray around the outside and then the black on the inside. And I do think it adds a little bit of depth. So that worked out a little better, although I am going around it with the gray or black. I think that's me going around with the gray, and then I'll still outline them in black. Outline everything in black, right? But yeah. Just adding in our little jack-o'-lantern face. And I'm probably going to have Ben either fast forward here or skip ahead to towards the end where I'm working on the horrible shadows. Alright guys, so here I am working on the shadows. Like I said, this didn't come out quite the way I wanted it to. And I really think the picture was really cute without it. I have contemplated having my son actually go through the Photoshop and remove the shadow for me so I can have a copy of it without it. I mean, it looks alright. After I've sat on it overnight and looked at it again today, it's not quite as bad as I thought it was when I got done. Okay, but here I am outlining the mouth and the eyes with my black pen. I do think I'm getting a little, no, I was about to say I'm getting a little bit better with that, but yeah, and there I am. Yeah, just contemplating my life choices, trying to figure out, am I going to go back? I don't know why I thought going in with the pen and trying to fill in was a good idea, but I guess I just decided to go for it, right? Just go forward confidently into, yeah, just keep going, Sarah. Just keep, yeah. Just gonna add some more color there. Not with the pencil that we're using, but with the outline. I guess I just decided to finally put that away and pick up the pencil. Oh, and then I decided that the shadow was going to try to go in. It's funny because I didn't like the shadow. So I thought I would go in with black and try to make it, more shadowy. Is that a thing? Make it more shadowy. It looked better before I started messing with it, especially since I did such a horrible job outlining it. And so the shadow just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Sometimes, guys, it's better to just leave well enough alone, right? Learn to walk away from the table while you're ahead. Ugh. Works in gambling and it works in drawing too, and also clapping your hands while you're doing a video. There we go. That was really smart. Anyway, I'm going to keep trying to fix this little bugaboo that I've got here. I'm just about to stop though, I think, and quit while I'm still slightly ahead. So thanks guys. I hope you had a good time today. Can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye.